Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an awesome life. I just put my robe on because the temperature's up, but it's raining, so it's got that damp feeling. It's like sort of England, sort of like that cozy little kind of feeling. So I'm sitting here, it's Sunday, and I wanted to shoot a few videos. Somebody that I really love is Dolores Cannon. If you don't know who she is, you need to know her. Dolores passed away just a few years ago, and she lived to be, I think ripe old age of 80-something. What a beautiful lady. What a great loss I felt when I found out that she was gone, because I so enjoy her videos, and she's on YouTube. So Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon is not a channel or a psychic or a medium or anything like that. She started doing hypnosis. I am actually a certified hypnosis, quantum healing hypnosis technique hypnotist. I got certified with them because she was taking people into a hypnotic state where she takes them into a really super deep level that most hypnotists won't go to, because it's, as Dolores says, strange things happen there. And that's when people start to experience past lives. But here's what she really does there, and this is really the whole purpose, is not to just find out if you were Cleopatra in a last life, but that helps you heal if you find out why maybe you have a weight issue. Maybe it's because in your last life you starved, and you have a certain condition in your back. You found out you were shot in the back in the Civil War. Things like that actually really happen. You carry that trauma, that energy comes with you. And when you recognize it, you can release it. It's like, oh, that's what it is. So it creates a healing effect for that. And also, she takes them into connecting to their higher self, the realm that has the collective consciousness, which is, of course, that person's higher self and all the collective others that will speak to you once you're in that deep hypnotic state. So Dolores will actually ask the collective, after she's done hypnotizing the person, she'll ask the collective consciousness questions, like serious questions, like about Atlantis and, certain things that she needs to know. She wrote entire books based on the information that they gave her. It's pretty wild. And like she said, she's just the messenger, so she wasn't channeling. That person under hypnosis would then tap in, like Dolores would say, is there a message here for this person or for me? And the higher realms would talk. Now, I've talked to you about this before. I'm mentioning this because I realized recently that's probably what I'm doing, only I'm not under hypnosis. And you can do the same thing. So I go into meditation, sort of a hypnotic state, right? And I'm actually aware that I'm in a higher realm, speaking to other beings, light beings, about myself and what I'm going to do next. It's weird. It's happened 3 times recently. So I want you to understand that we are not contained in this body or this life. You are not contained in it. You never are. You go off and sleep. That's not just the brain making stuff up. Come on, seriously? How could the brain make up some of that stuff? Now, some of it's a reflection of your feeling, and these are all messages. So if you are dreaming about yourself in a certain situation, or you're fearing things, or you're feeling happy or whatever, pay attention to that. You will get messages within that. Are you fearful of things? That's something you have to work on. Then you may go into dreams that have nothing to do with anything, and you're like, where's this coming from? And connecting to people and getting weird, crazy messages. I shared with you in other videos, some of them could be extremely dark. Don't be afraid. There are clear messages in there. Sometimes that's tested. Now, I shared with you a couple of them. I was in this icky, murky water, and my dad was in the boat. My dad's there for me whenever I get in these situations. So I had a boat there waiting for me with my dad, so if I wanted to get in the boat anytime, I could. My dad has passed away, so he comes in my dreams and he's either driving me around or he's in a boat or he's directing me places. He's helped me a lot to get to one place or another. And he's standing by, sort of like my protector. It's just awesome. It blows my mind. It's so cool. So he's obviously my guardian. And so, or one of my guardians. So I was in this murky water with another person. I don't know who that person was, but I used to be terribly afraid of snakes. I wouldn't pick one up now, but I sort of like them. I sort of feel sorry for them because they're beautiful, but we all have this fear of them, and it's like they're just little animals, trying to get around like we are. So I was below the water with my friend, and there was a cave, and we came up, and in the cave were snakes that were like monster snakes, like we're talking about, maybe 10 feet long, that are like this wide, huge, all in this cave. Right there, a few feet from her. She had her back to them. And I took her, and I didn't turn around, and I pulled her away toward me. I was not afraid at all. Toward me, and just slowly pulled her away from them. And they didn't bother us. We went under the water, and one of them was under the water right in front of us. And I took my hand, and I gently pushed it away. I wasn't afraid of it. And it took off. And I was protecting that friend of mine. And then we got out, and my dad was there to let us back in the boat. That message could have been extremely frightening. If you're having things like that, it could have been extremely frightening. But I came up out of the dream and thought, wow, okay, I could have said, why am I dreaming of my biggest fear, snakes, and oh, that was horrible, murky water. No, the message was very clear. I have gotten rid of my fear. At least I'm no longer reacting to it. I'm no longer reacting to fear. And that I'm a protector. And that even in the murkiest of waters, even when we went down the water in the murky water, that's even worse, right? Murky water you can't see through and a snake shows up. I'm with my friend. I was still okay with that situation and gently pushed that away. And I realized I have achieved a certain level of awakening now where I am now the protector against the worst possible fears, of which were represented as my own, and I was okay with it. In fact, I had a peaceful feeling about it, that there was nothing to ever fear, and that I was going to help my friend be okay with that situation. So now I have stepped into a mentor, teacher kind of mode, of course, which right? That's happened the last few years. Life has brought me into that. So why am I telling you this? There are all of these other realms that you have access to and you're going into all the time. Those dark dreams, pay attention to them. They have powerful, beautiful messages for you. And the more you get that and understand that, when you go into the dream and you're up against one of those situations, you can relax, because in your subconscious you're not afraid anymore, and I need to pay attention to this dream. There's something powerful in it. Now, something that Dolores Cannon, if you read her books, she said something. I watched one of her videos last night because they're just so awesome. She's always so positive. I love that. She tells us that the world is raising its frequency, that we are going into the new earth, we already are, and that we're splitting off. So there's going to be a lot of darkness rearing its ugly head because it doesn't want to let go. And so that's why we have to be steadfast. Something that she talked about was, after death, there are 3 main levels and limitless ones within those. There's the lower realm, and those are people that are just still attached to the earth. They have a negative idea about death or punishment and that. So you project those feelings into that reality, even on the other side. We're doing it here. We're projecting our thoughts and our beliefs in creating this reality. So if you go over with those thoughts, oh, I'm a bad person, I'm going to be punished, or, you did something the church said was bad, I'm going to be punished. It doesn't exist. But if you believe it does, you'll carry that energy over. So she said the lower realms are ghosts, people that maybe died of a drug overdose or were alcoholics their whole life and just never pulled out of it, are still going to have a lower frequency, and they're still going to be in that lower realm until they heal, and then they'll be able to move on and up. So that's the lower realm. It's not hell or punishment. It's just whatever we're creating here. So that's why it's so important to raise your frequency. There is no punishment. So be careful of what you believe and think, because if that's what you believe and think, then why would it change when you go to the other side? The second level is basically what we would call heaven, but it's only the middle level, and that is everything's beautiful. You get to review your life and understand the things that you could have done better, how you affected other people. It's not a judgment review. It's just a personal review. How can I be better? Right? There's no sadness or whatever involved other than the life review itself. You get to experience those feelings. And that's the, okay, I can do better next time kind of thing. And that's where you get to heal and do things and learn more. And now here's what's interesting. Dolores, I just heard this last night and it blew my mind. I had dreams many, many years ago. I mean, like when I was in my 20s. Well, not that long ago. And I dreamt that I was dead. I've dreamt that I've done many, many times. I dreamt that I was dead, and I was in like this Roman city. I mean, it was very complex. It was beautiful, but it was beautiful Roman buildings. And I was following these two angels around. They looked like angels. They were walking around. They were talking. And my job was just to really serve them. Not in a negative way. I didn't feel like a prisoner or anything. I was free to run around, but I had to basically follow them around. And they were learning. They were in libraries, huge libraries, and they had huge books and things all over the place. It was beautiful. And there were all of these angels in this, like, sort of like a university, and they were walking around the beautiful grounds. It was just gorgeous. But I was the lower being that was with them, and I knew that I was not on their level, but I knew that I was learning, and that I had to basically just do my time there in a positive way, but not allowed to speak, not because I couldn't, but because it just wasn't the thing to do. I never understood that dream. It was a very strange dream, but Dolores said something that really struck a chord with me. She said there's a higher realm, and she got all this information through thousands of people on their hypnosis that shared this, what's death like. The third basic realm, of course, there's levels in between depending on your frequency, is the higher realm. That's where the masters, the enlightened beings go, and that there's still learning going on there. There is, she said, a beautiful place where Roman buildings, Roman-type buildings, and cities are there for learning. And it blew my mind because I realized I had been there, not as the enlightened being, but somebody in training who basically had to serve the more enlightened beings until I could earn my place there. That's interesting, isn't it? I always wondered, why was I in a place so beautiful with angels, and yet I was not able to participate? Because they were learning, and that was part of me having to earn my higher status. I believe that I have been in that higher realm before, and that I was in training on a very low level. But that was a higher realm, so that's a good feeling. How many dreams have you had that may have been your experience on the other side? You may be experiencing here, going over through your dreams. If you're in meditation, you've experienced what I have, where you're actually in another room watching yourself, talking about it. My one thing I said was, I think I'm going to give up fear. It's funny that I had the dream about the snakes not too long after that. I think I really have. Do I have fear here? Yes. Yes, I have, thoughts of the future, this, that. But I don't allow it to control me, and I recognize what it is. It's the conditioning. You're going to always have that. So there's learning going on every single level. Don't be afraid of any of them, even the lower realms. If you're on this channel, don't worry about it. You're not going there. The lower realms of, what we think of as hell is still just a learning experience, just on a lower frequency. So it's not going to, you can't connect to it. That's your frequency. So you may have been in all of those. We probably all have been in those realms. So when we go back over, hopefully you'll go up to the higher realm. My wish is that I will be there, only I'll be the angel, and I'll be teaching somebody else. And so I hope to do that and earn it here, earn that beautiful status by helping you. Pay attention to how many times you're going to the other side. Pay attention to those dreams. Think about your dreams. Have you been to one of those realms? Have you been in a situation and you haven't really paid attention to that message because it seemed scary or it was unpleasant? I was dead and I was having to walk around. I actually had to carry their books. Can you believe that? I had to carry the books. I remember there was no eating. Nobody ate. Yeah, they got to do everything, by the way. And I just sort of had to sit around and keep my mouth shut. Yeah, so don't you say anything. I did. I didn't say anything while I was up there. So have fun with this and start to sit down and think about how many times you may have been experiencing actual past lives, actual afterlife experiences while in your dreams, while in your meditative states. You may be tapping into things you've really experienced or have been in a past life. But of course, as you know, there's no such thing as time. Everything is one thing happening at the same time, always. Everything that has been, will be, all probabilities is all happening. You're just shifting in and out of it. And every one of your thoughts allows you to do that. This is powerful stuff, people. I told you I was going to take you to a new level in 2018. We're going there. I'm going there. I'm giving you the stuff I've got that's woo-woo. Why? Because the further I get away from that traditional world as an investment banker that I lived, if you know my background, go to my .net site, landriaonka.net and .com. You can see the kind of life I lived. Very far from what I'm doing right now. But I'm out there, man. I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain by opening up gateways for you and myself. Because we're going to connect there. We're going to meet there, you and I are. Let's go to that higher realm. Let's be all that everything is and then some. Because that is you closer to what you are, and that's God. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Don't be afraid. Explore it. Nothing can harm you. Nothing can harm you. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just transforms. You have the power to transform into whatever you want to be. Make it beautiful and wonderful and loving and joyful. No one else is ever a threat to you. Nothing they say or do, no one is a threat to you. Be you. Send that light and love out to this planet every day and help me change this frequency. It's for us. We are one. Namaste.